He's giving them the business. The business.
Oh, the man is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it. Goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. He's going to down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. And the Gators have won the game.
50 to the 40. Herbert Whitfield to the 30 to the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown FSU.
Welcome to week 4 college football extravaganza picks and locks. I'm Robert. This is Justin. We got Davis joining us via phone from a table. And yeah, a lot of people said week 3, not a whole lot of games going on. They said it was going to be boring. But what did we get? We got a hell of a week of college football. We're going to be one micing it because someone stole my XLR cable. You'll see him later tonight. We would have had this cool setup. Look at Davis. Davis, how are you doing, buddy?
First off, what the fuck? You guys literally decided you're going to do a podcast together, and here I am at my apartment. I'm like, okay, I would have come over if you had told me you were going to be doing this, but okay, I'm over here. I'm feeling as good as I can possibly can be. I have my beverage ready to go, so we're going to be okay. So we're ready to go. We're ready to talk about some college football.
Well, don't be coming after us like that when we got shades on, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was
You're blocking out the hate. You're blocking it out.
Yeah.
John
Do you
Cena, that
believe?
shit.
Do you believe? Speaking of believing, we don't have any liquor down here. I'm gonna owe a shot. I'm gonna owe a shot. So West Virginia did take care of Pitt in our shot game. Good job in the backyard brawl. Good job to you, Justin. Would you like to say anything about that victory there?
Shout out to 304. Big week this week. Looking forward to it. I'm going to give it a fuck you, Pitt, and nothing else after that.
Big West Virginia people in this podcast here. Davis, you're nothing but a little tiny speck, but, I mean, I don't know if you watched that game or not. Do you have anything to say about that shot game?
Yeah, that was one of those games where, you know, it's a fun rivalry. It really is. Low-scoring game. And you know what? I mean, for the little bit I watched of it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because, you know, you have Pittsburgh, West Virginia. Pittsburgh's a hell of a city. It's a hell of a college. And then West Virginia, they're going to always fight no matter what. Even if they're a bad team, they're always going to fight. So I think that you had a good rivalry. And I was actually a little surprised it was as low scoring that it was. I was pretty surprised in that regard. So I'll take a shot to that because I thought it was going to be more. I probably would have taken the over, honestly.
There you go. And if you want to know how my weekend went, I was at a bachelor party for my buddy Devin, and I woke up.
Let's go, Devin.
Oh my God! You're just gonna hit that, but it was nonstop college football on Saturday. Honestly, I woke up to my buddy Joey, who former co-host on this podcast, punching me progressively harder as he's singing the FSU fight song. And when he started spelling FLOR, he started FLOR. He started going ham. And then like 2 hours later, he wasn't as excited because Boston College got on that ass. Boston College broke my lock, broke my parlays, broke my parlay. Yep. And you know what? They covered. No one told me it was the red bandana game.
Yeah, they always do the red bandana game the week of 9/11. And what I loved about it is I was in Tallahassee as this almost upset was brewing. It should have been a tied game. What happened is when Boston College scored their second touchdown, they missed an extra point, forcing them to go for 2 on the next one to try and tie it, and they weren't able to do it. And so they had to get the touchdown to make it put them within 2. But the game should have gone to overtime at the end of the day. So really, Florida State, you really technically went to overtime with Boston College. And all I have to say is you're fake. Is that the best you have? You're fucking fake. I knew it. I never ever gave them a lock. I never bet them, and you'll see it later. I don't believe in that team. I will not give them a playoff prediction. I will not cave in to the damn Seminoles.
All right, I'm going to go on a limb and say that Justin took a shot before this. So I think that
no, he's just really passionate because I threw him in my playoff prediction, and now I'm having to go in and kind of reevaluate. Although I did that with a couple teams, I'm thinking Florida State, y'all are not looking And Boston College could not stop getting penalties. It was a false start, offside, like procedural stuff, and they were still in the game. There was that fumble that was unexpected there, which broke everyone at the bachelor party's hearts. I was on FSU's side there for a while, but if you're not going to cover, you might as well lose. FSU. No, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, Boston College kept it close. FSU still won the game. So that's a dub, and that's to what was the preseason biggest game on your schedule. Now you're looking at FSU schedule saying, hold up, wait, you got Miami. Hold up, wait, you got Duke. Hey, hold up, wait, you might have Florida giving you a tough game there in the Swamp at the end of the season. So if I'm an FSU fan, I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit more nervous than I was going into week 2, right?
You got to pump the brakes. I mean, I get it. LSU, you beat them. You beat them handedly. But I think we're having more of an overreaction to how good Florida State is and not paying enough attention to how good is LSU really. I think that's something that needs to be taken into account here because FSU, they handled LSU right. But then you see them go up in their ACC opener against Boston College and do that? That's just not okay. Clemson's the same thing. They lost Duke, and we've seen Clemson put in some better performances more recently. I think we're going to answer for both of these teams this Saturday. I think we're going to get a truth to either one of who's who and how good are you actually.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Justin. Go ahead, Davis.
I was going to say, like, I don't want to get ahead because we're going to get to it. Florida State, it was a shocker. I think for all of us, it was obviously a shocker that they struggled the way they did, and with Boston College celebrating Wells, who 911. Honestly, I would say hero, the red bandana guy, the guy that went back into the building, trying to save as many people as he possibly could. Unfortunately, passed away as a result of 9/11. Absolute American hero. I love the fact that they do this. I didn't even know that they were doing that was a thing until this year. Mm-hmm. So if that's going to give them as much hype as they possibly can going into this game, I love it because that guy is an absolute hero. But Florida State managed to pull it off. I really don't think that tells you what Florida State is moving forward. And I'll wait to hold any kind of predictions going into Clemson because Clemson could be a tough matchup, and especially since it's at Clemson. But I think that Florida State got a reasonably tough contest. I mean, Boston College still played pretty well. I mean, the Castiglione, like he's running really well. He threw some really solid passes. Like I think that Boston College just simply gave them a good contest in that, and we'll see how they respond moving into Clemson.
Yeah, that's good. But you know what? They did break my first lock. They broke my lock, and then they broke my parlay. Who didn't break my lock? Yeah, they blew it.
They broke my lock too, by the way.
Who didn't break my lock? My number 2 lock for last week was Penn State. So they took care of Illinois. Minus 14.5. They got that. But Illinois did look like they were playing good defensive ball. Offense, not so much. Penn State got a couple turnovers there and won that game. Washington took care of business. Thank you, Justin, for putting us on Washington early this season. I saw him too. I was like, I'm excited about it. But Justin's enthusiasm really got Washington. Colorado did not cover. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Western Kentucky, and this is your fault. This isn't my fault. Actually, I owe an apology to all of my friends and anyone listening to this podcast for this whole podcast being up Western Kentucky's ass. We will never, ever be in a triple lock unity on Western Kentucky going into a big team like Ohio State's home ever again. Minus 28. I was telling people, there was a stat out there. Western Kentucky was one of 6 teams that didn't allow a sack the entire season. It was true until this week. What was also true was Austin Reed was going to sling that ball. Up until this week, he did not. Western Kentucky got trounced. Got a 60 burger put up on him. What do you have to say about this?
All right. Look, my boy Avery, I'm not going to say he let us down. Like we learned how good Ohio State really is, I feel, which you don't really learn that from games against teams like Western Kentucky, but I think like we learned how good Ohio State was. I mean, first of all, this game was close at one point. It was 14-3, and then Austin goes up, gets a touchdown, makes it 14-10. It's like, oh, they're playing. And then I check it an hour later. It's like 42-10 still, and it's just not getting better. So, we learned a lot. Western Kentucky, they were humbled. I mean, even ESPN Game Day was talking about this. This was a game to consider. You had the leading yards after catch receiver in Malachi Corey, the leading passing yards in Austin Reed. You had Ohio State, Marvin Harrison. He balled out, of course, but we even saw another former UWF player in Anthony Johnson Jr. He got hurt by Trayvon Henderson in the first quarter. It was just we rode with the West Florida faithful, and they weren't very faithful. Let's just say that. Whether it was in Tallahassee or in Columbus, Ohio, it was not a good weekend for UWF.
So it looks like on the week, James Madison ended up pulling that one out, right? Or did Troy pull that out? James Madison pulled that out. Did they get the cover there? Let's see. It was +3. Yeah, they won. So yeah, it was plus. All right. So Justin ended up 2-2 or 3-2 on the locks last week. I ended up 2-3, and then Davis ended up 1-4. So that means Justin.
Horrible response.
Yep, that means Justin's in the lead right now. But every week's a new week. We all went 5-0 last week, so stick with us. We're still in the positive. Go ahead.
I gotta get to my main lock, the one that I was probably the most confident in. Well, Washington was probably the one I was most confident in. Well, Florida, I was very confident. First of all, thank you. Called that upset. Thank you. I didn't say they'd cover. I said they'd win, and that they won. They won in Gainesville, proving Tennessee is not who they were last year. Joe Milton is not that guy. We learned a lot. Give it to us. You see the Gator helmet next to me, but Bama, what the hell was that? What the hell was that?
I had a friend. He's unnamed, but Alabama friend. Saying highly explicit stuff I cannot repeat on this podcast there at the beach house. And he was stone cold sober. No, I'm joking. He had something to drink, but might have been a little racy. Who knows? It was bad. Alabama got to get it together. I think Jalen Milroe is going to be the guy going forward, right? They did announce that, but he's obviously the guy that they got to go with after looking at how the game went, right? But give it up to South Florida too. South Florida did good.
Yeah, they okay. So here's what I want to say. I think that Alabama did the right thing by letting at least two other quarterbacks go in there. Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner. They let them go out there and try and win because Alabama was going to win that game whether it was ugly or not. And it was an opportunity to see what can our other quarterbacks do. I know they had the true freshman quarterback that they didn't let play, but most likely won't play at all. But I think it was an opportunity to see what can these other quarterbacks do. Well, so Alabama won the game, and it was ugly. So Nick Saban then turns around and says, all right, Jalen Milroe, which, by the way, there was footage of him being a very good teammate during the entire game. And Nick Saban even said, a result of him being, one, a good teammate, and two, overall just deserving of the starting job. That led to him now being the starting quarterback going into Ole Miss. So he didn't even have to take a snap against South Florida. And I agree with that decision, by the way. Let these other guys go out there, see what they can do. They played like shit. So now Jalen's going to be the guy moving forward.
Which it's not surprising to see Jalen's going to be the guy. I've said it all year. They built a system around him. It wasn't looking that good versus Texas. I think it's because he's not the type of quarterback they're trying to force him to be. They're trying to make him stay in the pocket, and they not really want him to run. And it's just not that he's not that type of guy. You got to let him run if he's going to run. You're just that guy, pal. You're just really not. Looking at some of the other games throughout the week, though, there was just a lot of surprises that happened. And I feel like this one, we even saw Ole Miss struggle with Georgia Tech at one point. Texas was struggling with Wyoming at one point. And then Wyoming's a good team.
And I think that was an impressive point.
That's why they jumped Florida State in the rankings, is because Wyoming has a lot more credit to them than Florida State. But the game that probably surprised us all, but was also the most exciting game this week, Colorado State. This game had every hype, every star, every accolade. It was incredible, and everything you could want from it. It had everything you didn't want from it. The Rock was there, Gay was there. This game had the ins and outs of what college football is, and it happened in Boulder. how often are we ever saying that? We're not. But this game was incredible. We saw Travis Hunter unfortunately get hurt, which you hate to see, especially because the two biggest games on the schedule are these next 2 weeks, so they won't have him. But we get to learn what is Shedeur without Travis. We're going to find out these upcoming Saturdays, and that's something we're going to get to see. But this game overall, incredible to watch. Colorado didn't cover. We thought they would have put up an 80 piece on them. But honestly, I was kind of happier with the product that came out of a double overtime game. And I mean, Shiloh had a pick 6 to start off. I mean, this was fun. It was a fun game.
Yeah, if you're Colorado State, you go for 2 right there, right? You try and win that game right there. That's what that's what I would want to do.
If you're an underdog, yeah, because and they were an extreme underdog. They talked some shit, and then that game had everything in terms of teams hating each other and teams wanting to do harm to each other.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw what happened to Travis Hunter, and I don't condone the Blackburn, the player that laid the hit, and ultimately his family and him got death threats. Obviously, we don't condone that. That should never happen. Colorado relaxed because you won a game last year, and this year you're throwing out death threats. Like, calm your ass down, okay? But
I mean,
I think
it's football, man. Like, you've seen hits. I've seen like hits like that whenever I played back in the day, and it wasn't a penalty either. It was just you just got hit.
It was a penalty. It didn't result in an ejection.
The thing is, that wasn't just Colorado Davis. Like, that was a lot of people. Like, so let's get this right. Dion's drawn a crowd that usually doesn't watch football. And we had LeBron tweeting at this kid. Like, this is
you had Lil Wayne rapping the team out onto the field.
Yeah, like I said, we have an audience that we're not used to seeing. So, like, this is all Colorado. This is just people in general who are watching this game who are just mad. So this game in general, pretty crazy. I'm excited that it happened, but I'm kind of interesting to see what's going to happen when they go to Eugene to face Oregon.
I mean, I could give my prediction now, but we'll wait. I think that hit, obviously it was late, it was cheap, but I mean, you see an opportunity to get a hit on, the quarterback or like an elite player like that on the other team. You usually try to take that shot, honestly. I think the Colorado State coach in there towards the end was way too conservative for my liking. I think you got to put it on them on defense. You got to not let them get these crossing routes and march down the field, man. They had the win. They had that win. They were up 28-17 there, going into like 8 minutes left in the game or something like that. You just got to put the pedal to the metal and win that game. But we got to move on. Stop me if you want to talk about any of these other games. Notre Dame handled Central Michigan. Georgia, I think they handled South Carolina. We skipped over that game. I mean, South Carolina was sticking with them, but if you watched the game and you saw how physical Georgia was, they out physical South Carolina. I know we probably want to say a couple things about this game, but yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So go ahead, Justin.
Okay. So coming in from a year ago, what that game was, this is a massive upgrade for Shane Beamer and Beamer Ball. 2 losses already on the year, but take it with a grain of salt. Their 2 losses are to really good teams that can compete in their conference championship and possible playoff contentions. You have to give them credit. Seeing that they were up the way they were, how they played, I'm very impressed with it. I'm very happy with the product they're putting out this year. I think this team could still compete in the East. They're just kind of hoping that someone puts out Georgia, which could be Florida, could be Tennessee. We don't really know. It could be damn Mizzou right now. We don't really know. I mean, like literally Mizzou, 61-yarder. Hello, call game, goodbye. Yeah, that was an incredible kick. Mizzou's competing this year right now. Florida's apparently competing. Tennessee, but we got some really good. We have some really good competition going throughout the East right now. So seeing South Carolina compete, I mean, the Florida-South Carolina game is going to be fun to watch. South Carolina, Mizzou is going to be fun to watch. Florida, Missouri, and then it's just we have a lot of great games in the East this year, which you don't often say more than recently, I'd have to say. So I'm excited to see it. I was very impressed with the product. Losing by 10 to Georgia, it's good. I think it also shows Georgia's beatable. Georgia is.
Yeah, I think they're beatable, but like I said, in the second half, they just kind of ran away with it.
So I I think that South Carolina, I've always respected them. I love Shane Beamer as a coach. I think he's a great players coach. And I think Spencer Rattler did some things that is good for his draft stock, but then you saw the rest of the game. And I think that Georgia was the stronger team as a whole. Carson Beck, I still have no idea if he's a good quarterback for Georgia. So they won the game, I think, because Georgia was a complete team and South Carolina was not. You guys are being assholes. I get that. But I think I still have question marks on Georgia despite them winning this game. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Oh, Pat's over here saying Sanders poking dude's eyes out was worse. Yeah, I mean, it was a rivalry game. Things got in the Tennessee game. I saw some Tennessee guy trying to poke out either Graham Mertz or Travis Etienne's eye. Yeah,
like some Bobby Boucher shit. Just
the Tennessee.
Captain Insano shows some
Tennessee
mercy.
game ended up being the UFC match, leading into the UFC match. If you're into UFC, we watched that afterwards anyway. But speaking of Tennessee, let's get to that. Florida upsets Tennessee in what could be called the upset of the week, but a lot of people were calling this from your other football shows. I think one well-known gentleman in a white T-shirt who called Florida winning that game, and then even on College Game Day, they had a couple people calling Florida winning that game. So it was an upset, and it kind of went how everyone thought it would if Florida would win the game. They cleaned up the penalties, they cleaned up the procedural issues, ran the ball, and Tennessee could not hit the long bomb. They did maybe twice. They got a touchdown late from a long ball, and then one early on. But other than that, Florida's defense, now top 10 in the country, pretty good defense.
The defense is still a question mark to me. We have a very young kid, and Alex Long, I believe his name is, our defensive coordinator. And we saw versus Utah, it needed to be fixed up a little bit. But if it's in the trend that it's going, you have to be happy as a Florida fan. Of course, this game was fun to watch. You can't say what Tennessee did versus Austin Peay is something that you could take and go, oh, yeah, that's a top 25, top 10 team. No, that game versus Austin Peay showed a lot about Tennessee, that they are not what they are supposed to be, and they're very beatable. And so that's why people like me chose to go with the orange and blue in Gainesville in a night game. It's a hard atmosphere to win in, and Tennessee showed that.
People like me and people like you, man. We were jamming to that the whole weekend. But look, you didn't think you could do it. You thought you were going to walk into the swamp and win. The swamp was rocking. I've been there before in a big game, but last night I've heard it was top 10 experience, top 10 game for being in the swamp. Huge win for the Gators. And we got 3 players suspended. And if you ask me, stand up for your team and fight. They earned that. They earned that weekend off against who was it? Charlotte. Who were we playing? Charlotte. Do it every single time.
You're playing Charlotte.
I'll take it every single time. Fight back for your quarterback. That's what I'm talking about.
By the way, Charlotte, one of the most random campuses I've ever been on. But I've seen that campus, and it's like, all right, good job, guys. But I was I had to go get a tire changed on Monday. It had an air leak. It wasn't fixable. I had to go
we
get
don't
a new
got
tire.
time for tire changing stories. I gotta go.
I know. But the girl who was there that worked at Nissan was playing videos of her being at the game. I saw the videos. I heard the videos, and I was like, oh, I felt it. And that was quite the atmosphere. Florida, I'm happy they won. I'm happy that they managed to pull it off. They showed something that I was talking complete trash about a couple weeks before. So, wow, go Gators.
Go
Cheers
Gators.
to that.
I'm going to come.
All right, now we're going to move on. I got to do rapid speed here. Oregon takes care of Hawaii 55-10. Bo Nix throwing for almost $250. Utah takes care of Weber 31-7. LSU.
Weber, by the way. Weber.
LSU.
Weber.
Who cares? Anyway, LSU absolutely took the cowbell out of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. I can't waste time on this because it was just an absolute beatdown. LSU looked good, might be the best they look good. Look at all season, honestly. Um, I feel like you wanted to say something about that game.
Malik Neighbors balled out this game. Had like 10 catches for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Like guy was going for a record or something. It's good to see that LSU has that receiver. It just sucks that they don't have receivers. So I mean, I'm still not up on LSU. Until they face probably Bama or Ole Miss. I'm gonna be like, okay, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. UNC takes care of business there against Minnesota, 31-13. Duke also takes care of business against Northwestern. I believe they covered that spread. And Wazoo puts up a massive 64 points against a team who I have no earthly idea who they are, looking at their abbreviation right now. UNCO, University of Northern Colorado, if I had to guess. Let's see if I'm right.
Hey, Northern Colorado. It's Northern Colorado.
Am I right? Oh, bada bing, bada boom. Look at that.
Yep, you are right. You're right.
So good.
It's Northern Colorado.
So good. Ohio. This was an upset. Beats Iowa State. My buddy Joey, former co-host of this show, had Ohio beating Iowa State. So good on you, Joey. And one big upset here. One huge upset here. BYU goes into Arkansas and wins 38-31. That was massive. That was a massive win. Here you go.
Okay. So a picture got leaked of a girl who in a Snapchat, and it says this. So what he did, he sent a text. So he sent a snap to a girl, and it said, KJ Jefferson, our QB1 just snapped me after we got this win. After we get this win, I'm trying to suck them titties. And then he loses the Mormons of BYU. You don't suck on the titties, you lose to the Mormons of BYU. Not at all. And she's pretty, but you don't get them titties.
Oh, man.
Dude, that's just
not good. Not good. Not a good move.
So excited to go get this win and drops it to BYU. And now they got LSU this weekend. So now we're going to see which one of you guys is actually better. Who's better? Because KJ Jefferson was regarded as the best quarterback in the SEC throughout these first few weeks of the season, which right now that might be up in the air of who's who. We're going to probably find that out later on this year. You can throw guys like Jackson Dart in there now probably, but that's just yeah.
And I do apologize for the time crunch. We are going to have to go a little bit rapid fire here. We got about 20 minutes or so. Michigan on Saturday has an undefeated Rutgers team coming to them at 11 a.m. Michigan's been cakewalking this whole time. I think Michigan should win. Now, covering the spread, that's another thing. I have to see what's that. Let's see.
Michigan should win. I was tempted on a lock, but I'm going to go Michigan.
Yeah, it's minus 24 Michigan. I'm tempted on a lock too. I think they'll win here handily. I don't think Rutgers has been tested truly this year. They look okay. They look okay. Michigan looks amazing, but they've only been playing cake. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there with Michigan. I did skip the Thursday and Friday night games. But you guys can take a look at that. I'll see Friday. Nope. All right. This is one of the one times isn't playing on a Friday night.
We got a lot of top 25 matchups. I think we have like 6 or 7 this week. So I don't know. We got a lot to hit when it comes to those. So we might as well get going on that. Yeah, FSU Clemson. So that's again, we've all been out since the year began. Clemson 2-1, FSU 3-0. Going to be in Clemson, and it's an 11 o'clock kick. Not the hype you want to see. Clemson's still unranked. FSU favored by 2 points here.
Yeah, check out the sick graphic that producer Pat made for us here. Good job, Pat. I think he stuck his own spread on there. I think he has Clemson +1 on, but that might not be the spread right now. But it's a beautiful graphic, regardless. Pat, congratulations! You've earned the spot.
So I want to say that I think Florida State's going to win this game. It is at Clemson, though. I'm actually kind of hoping that Clemson beats Florida State, and that's why I didn't want to lock in this game, because I want Clemson to kind of show that they actually can play. Maybe it's been a rough start, but they can show they can play. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I got a feeling Florida State's going to win this one too, but I don't know. I got a feeling Clemson could ball out, and because they've been tired of people talking about what Duke did to them the very first week, you know.
Yeah, they
And,
get their shit kicked in by them.
yeah, but then again, Florida State, you know, after getting scared last week in BC, they might be like, hey, we got to take this team serious. They're no slouch, but just because we got that 4 next to our name, don't mean it can't be knocked down. I think it's going to be a crazy year all around. So if I had to predict it right now, I think FSU. Let me take a peek real quick here. Make sure I didn't. All right. I did not lock them. All right. No one saw it. I'm not locking this game, but I think it's too close to call for me. I would say Florida State wins, but I'm not sure. Who do you got winning this game right here?
For me, I am, like I said, I'm not giving Florida State any credit until they prove it. And last week they went in the opposite direction. They are just helping me not want to give them any sort of, like, they technically, like,
You blew it!
simple as that. I got no faith in Florida State. I'm going to run with the hometown team here, not the hometown, but the home team here, and go with Clemson. I don't believe in Florida State. I think last week showed us a lot, showed us that they're very beatable. I think Clemson can capitalize, and that's why they are one of my locks. I have them favored with +2.
There you go. Lock spent. And while he's spinning locks, I'm going to move on to the next game. Also 11 a.m. in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Oklahoma Sooners traveled to Cincinnati team who dropped one last week but looked overall pretty good in the first couple weeks. Oklahoma is favored minus 14.5. I'm making that my first lock this week. I'm going to take Oklahoma at minus 14.5, and I think they're going to go ahead and go undefeated up until the Red River rivalry, and then we'll have College Game Day, College Football Extravaganza game of the week. We can pontificate about that game there. Does anyone think Oklahoma is going to cover this spread? Y'all with me here?
Yeah, I think so. Although I love what Emory Jones. I like the fact that he's playing decent with Cincinnati. I do appreciate that as a former Florida quarterback, but honestly, no, I don't think so.
I will give Cincinnati a cover here. Not a lock, but I'll give them a cover. So we'll do that, the game. And then for next up, we will go with – actually, I want to hit this game because it's one of my locks. So we're going to go into Huntington, West Virginia. If you've heard me do broadcasts before, then you'd be pretty familiar with that. Marshall, they're host of Virginia Tech, first part of the home and home series. I'm absolutely amped because I checked ESPN today for my locks. I thought we would be the underdog here, and apparently we're favored versus Virginia Tech. They are 1-2 right now. They just lost again. What I'm pretty upset about is that Grant Wells, our former quarterback, is a quarterback of Virginia Tech, and he started all last season, the first couple of weeks this season, and then he lost the starting spot the week before the game. How did you had one job, hold on to your starting spot until you get to Marshall, so Owen Porter and the boys can absolutely nuke your ass every single play in the zone, and you lost the starting spot.
Man, I will
upset about it.
I will say Grant Wells came out guns a-blazing when he got to Virginia Tech. And then he did, honestly, I felt he did the same thing at Marshall. So,
No,
honestly, that sounds like it is on him.
I am just mad that I hope they start him because the guy they had last week, he lost. So hopefully Grant Wells sees the field because I want him to see the top 10 defense that Marshall has. I want to see him on the other side of the ball. He left us, and I would love nothing more than to put him and the damn Hokies in the damn dirt because I hate the Hokies. I hate Virginia Tech. We don't like them in Huntington, and I don't like Grant Wells either. And I want Marshall, no important the boys, to go drop a doozy on them, all right?
You heard it here. We're a Marshall podcast. At 1/3 Marshall podcast here at College Football Extravaganza. If you're watching this, drop a like, drop a subscribe. We do these weekly picks and locks, and we're keeping up with them too. We're being transparent and honest. So if you're betting on the games, you know, don't. I'm not saying trust us, but I'm saying look at our records and see what's going on.
Trust me, Marshall's favored 5.5 at the damn lock. Give it to me, all right? They're going to drop 14 on them and beat them, okay? It's going to happen. We are one of the, I don't know, I think it's like one of 4 teams in the country that haven't allowed a sack. Our O-line may be shit, but Cam Fancher don't allow anyone to sack his ass in the backfield, all right? And I'm making that real clear right now.
And
Yeah,
that's
brother.
brother, that's a stat we threw out for Western Kentucky right before they went and got their ass beat up in Columbus. So moving on to the next game, Pat also made a wonderful graphic for this game. Unfortunately, without Travis Hunter, the Buffs are going to have to travel to Autzen Stadium in Oregon and face the Ducks and Bo Nix in that crazy music. Yeah, it's I think it's time. I think it's time for me to spend a lock on Colorado again. I think Colorado is going to cover that minus, what was it, minus 24.5 or something like that.
Last time I saw it was like 21.
21. Yeah. So I got the Buffs covering, but I got Oregon winning this game and handing the Buffs their first loss. Oregon's just running through. I think it's gonna be a close game. Did you watch the Texas Tech game? It was a close game. Oregon's gonna put up some points, and they're gonna win the game.
Definitely close game. I'm not, honestly, I know it is in Oregon, but I'm shocked that it was 21 points. Give me Colorado, and yeah, you're right. It might be their first loss. It might. That's just how strong I feel about it.
So
go ahead and give me Colorado. Lock it in. Plus 21.
We're going to call it a trio lock once again. I think we have one of these once a week, but I also have Colorado covering this one. I get it. You don't have Travis Hunter. I get it. It'll probably be the first loss of the year for them, but Shedeur is a Heisman candidate, and this is the game where he gets to prove it. There's no way in hell someone's dropping more than 21 on Colorado. I just don't see it happening. In anybody, I don't see it happening. So, well, not score points, but like not beat them by 21. No, like it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. What's this one do? Cool, I'll take it.
All right, moving fast and hard. We got another Pac-12 undefeated matchup here. Utah facing the UCLA Bruins. Utah came close to losing to Baylor, though. Well, not this week, but last week. And UCLA had a tight game against Coastal Carolina. I want to say that UCLA gets this done. I'm not touching it lock-wise. I'm not spinning a lock on it, but I'm definitely going to watch this game. This is a part of that finding the Pac-12 puzzle out. This is one of those big pieces where you're going to put it in there and you're going to be like, oh, so now we're getting more of a clear picture. Or not. We might see later. I don't know. I'll pick, if someone wanted to go against me, I'll pick UCLA because I like Chip Kelly here, and I just hate Utah for beating the Gators week 1.
Games in Utah or games in UCLA? Games at Utah, favored by 6. Is Cam Rising back?
They make it seem like he's back every week and then he doesn't play.
That's the tough part here. Like, you don't really know to take Utah or not until Cam Rising's back. If Cam Rising's back, I'm taking Utah. Here's the thing. I love the Pac-12. I made that very clear, like, before the season even started on this podcast. Pac-12 is it this year. It is the place to be for good football, fun football, and overall just an incredible scene going on. It's going to be their last year, but also their best year. We can see Colorado, Oregon this week. That's going to be a good piece of the puzzle. Can't wait to see Washington have to compete as well. USC, they get to go play some games next week. It's going to be a really good season for Pac-12, and this is a game right here that gets to go into it.
Davis, if you don't have a pick on this game, we can move on.
Utah, moving on.
Utah, moving on. Going back to the Southeast, Ole Miss travels to Bryant-Denny Stadium to face Alabama.
Yeah.
And a team that's just been having it. They've just been getting reamed for their offensive performance this past week over there in Raymond James in South Florida. And a lot of people are saying Ole Miss might win. A lot of people got Ole Miss +7. One of those including
one of them.
Yeah, one of those including Davis. Davis, would you like to say something to the country?
Yeah, because Alabama, I don't trust that
To the
team
7
whatsoever.
people in this
Jalen
country?
Milroe is going to start, but I think Ole Miss is looking pretty good. I think that Ole Miss, if you're going to give Alabama the favor, go ahead and take Ole Miss. I think they're going to win the game and they're going to cover the spread, obviously, because they're -7 Alabama. So let's go.
Boom. I like that lock. And for that, you're going to get a Mexican-themed lock. There you go. Congratulations. How does that make you feel? Justin, you got
I love that.
This game in general, no, I don't have this locked in. This is just one of those games where you get to find out a lot about a couple teams. How real is Ole Miss? Is Alabama as bad as they might be? In my opinion, I want to say like they don't lose to Bryant Denny, but they lost to Bryant Denny to Texas, man. But it's against Lane, man. I mean, he already lost to a former Steve Sarkisian this year. Yeah, I'll go Ole Miss. I hate to do it to my boy Casey, but man, they're just not too hot this year. All right, what else we got going on?
Next game on the list here that we're going to pull up, it's going to be Iowa and Penn State.
Iowa and Penn State. Game I haven't looked into much, but I'm just going to go ahead and go Penn State. Not a lock. But give me Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
So give me Penn State too, only for the sake of I don't know what Iowa really is yet. So Penn State, I thought it looked really good. So, but it's a home game for Iowa, right?
I believe so. I'm checking it out right now.
No, it's a Penn State home game. Yeah, absolutely. Give me Iowa.
Oh yeah,
Give
this is actually not only it's a whiteout game. It's their whiteout game.
Oh yeah, Penn State completely. I would have made that a lock if I had known that, but it's okay. I've already made my locks.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Not so fast, my friend. I'm gonna go Iowa to cover. Yeah, we can make the well. The shot game's already decided. Sorry, it's already shot game's already decided. But I'm gonna go ahead and say Iowa covers because it's -13. I think our defense is solid. Always has been solid, and they actually put up 41 points last week. So there's something about this Iowa team that people are going to find out, and we're all going to find out. But I just want to be on the early train, and if I'm wrong, then the early train is going to take me somewhere I don't want to be.
We have to make this a shot game. We have to make it a shot game. Like it's the whiteout. We can't just skip over our top 25 whiteout game and say, oh yeah, and we don't have the same opinions on it and say we don't do a shot over it.
That's fine. We have another game that's the game of the week. That's also the shot game.
I have another shot game in mind. Shot game in mind, but we can get there. We'll get there. I think I'm on the same page as Robert.
Oh, you're gonna be on Iowa with me?
Well, I mean, I think Penn State's gonna win the game. I mean, that's
okay. So
I think Penn State's gonna win the game.
All right. Well, we can have 3 shot games. We can have fun. We can have fun next
week.
Hey,
it's all part of this podcast. We drink and we have fun.
Okay, so that's a triple stack. We're gonna have a triple stack shot podcast next podcast to make up for the untimeliness this week. Yeah. All right. So I got Iowa. You guys are on Penn State to cover. That's fine. I got Iowa to cover, not to win. All right. Let's make that very clear. Penn State's winning this game. Iowa's keeping it close. No, it's not happening. All right. Cool. I mean, it's not happening. I can see where it does happen. They absolutely beat them. But I'm just out here trying to pick some upsets. You got to pick some upsets because it's gonna be upset year. All right. Next game we got going on. And Davis, I believe you have this as one of your locks of the week. You got Wazoo.
Yep, Wazoo. I have Wazoo. Fun game.
Oregon
Cam Ward playing great. Oregon State's playing great too. DJ Uiagalelei doing good things. I really want him to have one of those games where he just balls out and does what he was projected to do when he was recruited. But Wazoo, give me that all the way. Lock it in.
You got it. And we'll give you the Western out there in the Pac-12. You get the Western lock. That's right. Moving on. I I don't want to move on from this game without saying who I think is going to win. But I couldn't tell you. Like, Washington State put it on Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I would
they
go
did.
with Oregon State. I would go with Oregon State. I think Oregon State wins this game. That's just me, but I'm not locking it. Actually, wait, I did lock it. I'm locking Oregon State, and if that's the shot game you were talking about, was that what the one you were talking about, Davis?
No, the shot game was Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Okay, never mind.
Oh, fucking do it again.
All right. So I'm going to do this one, and it's going to be pretty easy. Oregon State's going to win this one. I get it, Wazoo. They beat Wisconsin, but Oregon State has a much better O-line than what most are anticipating, and that's going to give DJ a lot of time. Just watch the O-line. This game's going to be won at the line. But for some reason, if Wazoo just comes out as the most random-ass dark horse, like – yeah, like of the Pac-12, I'm gonna be like, I don't even know anymore. But that's what makes the Pac-12 fun this year. So everybody should watch because it's their last year, and we don't get to see it again.
Yep, that's huge. So the second shot game, because Davis just alluded to it, and we're about to. Oh, what's the lock you haven't hit yet? Before we get to that. All right. Well, we'll get to the locks there for the locks of the week. Actually, we'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and play that. We got Justin's locks here. He's got Ohio State beating Notre Dame -3, Clemson +2.5, Colorado +21, covering against Oregon, and Western Kentucky for the second week in a row on the lock board, even though they let us down. And of course, like as Rant said earlier, he's got Marshall -5. And I guess, you know what, screw it. I messed that one up. We should do the game of the week before we do the locks. Yeah. Sorry. So let me throw that up there. Boom. All right, now there we go. That's better. Now there's no spoilers, right? So I'm picking Colorado second, third. Actually, this is the fourth week in a row Colorado is going to wind up on my lock list. Every single week. This week though, they're the underdogs. So I actually they were the underdogs week 1. I got that one too, but I do think they cover against Oregon and Oklahoma. Absolutely trouncing Cincinnati. I got Oregon State winning. We had -3 there. I think it said -2.5 right now. And look like I got Western Kentucky on there, but that's not accurate. There's another game that I picked. No, no, that was from last week. I'm gonna have to go back and see because that was an error. What? And I got Iowa. Beating Penn State
fucking do it
at
again.
At the whiteout game.
What?
Actually, maybe not beating Penn State. I got them covering though, at least. And Davis's locks, last but not least, he's got Colorado, Ole Miss, Duke, Notre Dame, and Wazoo. So
by the way, I'm loving on this Duke team until they lose. So I feel like I want to take them until they finally lose.
Why not? I would too. Yeah, take them. It's on. It's gonna be on for what, a couple games this season. They got Florida State. They got to play Miami. Duke's got a chance here.
Right.
I'll take
Riley Leonard doing good things.
Yep, very good things. That's a huge game. So, shot game of the week right here, Ohio State, Notre Dame. And me and Davis are on Notre Dame's side here. I think Notre Dame's going to win. Justin took Ohio State side, so we got 3 shot games. We got the Ohio State Notre Dame game, the Oregon State Wazoo game, and what was the other one? Penn State Iowa. So that's going to be the 3.
Look, I got to get my take on Ohio State here. They balled out. They put the 60 piece on WKU. Don't think that should be taken lightly. I get it. WKU does not look like that. That didn't look great, but we see that Ohio State was playing the way they should be. Marvin Harrison, he looks great. I don't see Notre Dame winning this game. It's in South Bend, right?
Oh, it's in South Bend, a tough place to win, by the way. Not
Hey,
according to Marshall, but it is a
Marshall
tough
do
place
it,
to play.
damn Bucks can do it too. All right,
But
all right,
a much different team. A much different team.
OH.
I'm not gonna say IO, but I mean they look good, but I think Notre Dame has been prepping all season long for this game. I think that Ohio State's starting to come to their own. It's definitely the game of the week, right? It's definitely going to be excitement in the stadium when you walk through the doors. It's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to watching the game. I'm looking forward to all the games. We got to wrap it up here soon, but special shout out to the South Alabama Jaguars from Mobile, Alabama, going all the way to Oklahoma State and absolutely whooping their ass. That was awesome. And Pat says it's the green jersey game for Notre Dame. And Pat, we might try and hop over to Panama City and join you for that game. I know you're a big Notre Dame guy, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch that game. Anyway, we got to go. I know some games we missed. We might try and get together later on this week to do something else, but we got to wrap one up. I know you want to. I know you got stuff, but I gotta go. I gotta get going. Sorry. But if you like this podcast, you can subscribe down below. We do weekly picks and weekly locks, and follow on other things too, Instagram and whatnot. Facebook's suspended right now because people like to hack me. Yeah, fuck them. That's why. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, have fun. Have a good week, and get your locks in. We'll get our locks straight, and we'll be fine this season.
These people don't give a shit.
Who's giving them the business?